Hello everyone. Tonight we're going to talk about something pretty intense. What if you woke up tomorrow as an American soldier fighting in World War II? By the end of this, you'll probably feel pretty grateful for the bed you're lying in. If you like these stories, I'd really appreciate a like or subscribe. I'm always curious where you're listening from, so drop a comment with your location. And what time it is always amazes me how people all over the world fall asleep to this. The Germans are about to launch a huge counterattack, and you're directly in their path. Get some coffee, if there's any left, going to be a long day. You crawl out of your foxhole, boots crunching in the snow. The woods around you are striking but deadly tall pines, heavy with snow, morning mist between the trunks. The distant rumble of artillery is constant, like background noise now. Your hands shake a little, maybe from cold, maybe from nerves. Lieutenant Murphy moves among the men, checking positions, giving quiet encouragement. Despite his age and size, there's something about him that steadies everyone. Maybe it's how calm he is. Or maybe it's just that he's survived so much already. When he looks at you, his eyes seem older than the rest of him. "Keep your head down today," he says. In the distance, about a mile away across open fields, is the village of Holtzwehr, still held by the Germans. Your M1 Garand rifle is your lifeline, 8 rounds in the clip. The metal freezing against your gloved hands. Someone yells, and suddenly everyone's alert. Weapons ready. Your company has nothing that can stop a Panther tank except the 2 M10 tank destroyers with you. One is set up on the road to the village, the other about 40 yards ahead. Lieutenant Murphy is on the radio calling for artillery, his voice calm but his shoulders tense. This is bad, very bad. From the village, out of the mist, they appear 6 German tanks, huge metal machines crawling across the snow. Behind them, hundreds of German soldiers spread out in skirmish lines. Someone near you whispers, "Jesus Christ." You have a few more clips in your pouches, a half-full canteen with water, partly frozen, a first aid packet, a bayonet, a few grenades. Not much to bet your life on, but it's all you have. Your position isn't great. Your company is on the edge of a U-shaped woods with open ground in front. A narrow road leads from the trees to the village. The ground is so frozen it is nearly impossible to dig deep. Foxholes, most guys have only shallow pits to try to get below ground level. Look left, see that young guy checking his M1 carbine? That's Second Lieutenant Audi Murphy. He looks like he should still be in school, just barely 5'5". Maybe 110 pounds soaking wet. Scout sore. Activity in the village could be nothing. Could be something. You take a sip of the bitter coffee and feel it settle in your empty stomach. When did you last have a real meal? You can't remember. The Rations keep you going, but they're far from home cookina. Small tin of processed meat, some rock-hard biscuits, a chocolate bar frozen solid, and a few cigarettes. Breakfast of champions. You'd never guess he's already the most decorated man in your company. He's got a Distinguished Service Cross, 2 silver stars, and 2 bronze stars. They call him Baby because of his young face, but nobody jokes about that anymore. Anzio, when he single-handedly wiped out a German machine gun nest. Or in France, when he took out 2 snipers and another gun position alone. He's either unbelievably brave or doesn't care if he dies, maybe both. All right, get comfortable. Take a slow breath and let yourself sink into whatever you're lying on. We're going back to January 1945, deep in the cold forests of eastern France. The coffee you get is lukewarm and tastes awful, but it's coffee. And the caffeine might help you stay awake, stay alive. No mattress, no couch, just rock-hard frozen dirt. You have 1 wool blanket that is stiff, with ice around the edges, and topped with a dusting of fresh snow that fell during the few minutes you managed to sleep. You're re-wearing the same clothes you've had on for almost 2 weeks, wool socks that haven't been dry since Christmas, army boots that are coming apart at the seams, layers of olive drab that smell like sweat, dirt, and that faint, sharp smell of fear. Beside you is your steel helmet, so cold that touching it with bare skin would be painful. The air smells like pine, gunpowder, and a faint, sickly sweet scent. You've gotten used to the smell of death. So, here you are. Congratulations, you've just woken up in eastern France, January 1945, and you're freezing. Not the kind of cold where you grab another blanket. This cold goes through your bone. Your toes are numb. Your eyelash is frozen. The first thing you notice is you're lying on frozen ground. When you sit up, every muscle complains. Your back is stiff from the hard ground. Your joints locked up from the cold. Around you, other soldiers start to wake up in their foxholes. Someone coughs. Someone curses. Someone says a quiet prayer. This is the Colmar Pocket, one of the last German positions in France, and you're in Company B of the 5th 10th Infantry Regiment, 3rd Infantry Division, United States Army. Just days ago, your company had over 100 men. Now there are about 40 left. You've been fighting nearly non-stop since landing in Italy almost 2 years ago. The good news, you're still alive, which is more than many can say the bad news. He nods at you, his breath showing in the cold air. You make your way to the mess area, a slightly wider spot in the woods, where a tired cook is trying to warm coffee over a tiny stove that barely gives off heat. Germans are moving, says a sergeant nearby, his face lined and older than his age. The sun starts to rise, shadows stretching through the trees. Something feels wrong. Back in your foxhole, you check your gear. Around 2 p.m., everything changes. First comes the sound rumbling, mechanical, steady, getting closer. Tank engines. They're coming. The odds are terrible, 40 of you against hundreds of them, and tanks too. Your company has nothing that can stop a Panther tank except the 2 M10 tank destroyers with you. One is set up on the road to the village, the other about 40 yards ahead. Shells blast through trees, splinters and shrapnel fly everywhere. There's a stronger line deeper in the woods, but someone has to hold off the Germans while the rest pull back. Murphy is standing out in the open, still calling artillery strikes on the advancing German. He must be crazy, but you're glad someone's buying you time to escape. Twice, you think he's dead? Twice. He comes back out of the smoke, still firing. Instead, he organizes a counterattack, leading what's left of Company B to take back their original position. The temperature drops again. Your hands are numb, your feet feel like blocks of ice, and you're more exhausted than ever, but somehow still alive. Murphy moves among the men, checking on everyone and making sure the wounded get help. You're alive. Your unit held. Tomorrow will come when it comes, where snow keeps falling gently through the pine branches above. You yawn, your jaw stiff from the cold, your fingers finally warming inside your gloves as you hold them to your chest. Every joint aches from the cold. Your back one tight knot from sleeping on hard ground. Your mouth tastes like metal. The temperature dropped even more. Overnight, people say it's the coldest winter in Europe in decades. And you believe it. His newer replacement, who arrived just 3 days ago, Jenkins, or Johnson, you can't remember. They come and go so fast, you don't bother learning names anymore. Ice has formed on the inside of your helmet where your breath froze. Your canteen is a solid block. He's young, maybe 18, with a round face that still has traces of baby fat. He looks more like a paper boy than a soldier. He'll either toughen up fast, or you want to last long there's not much middle ground here. Even your shoelaces are stiff as you try to tighten your boots. You can tell if it's going out or coming in. These are outgoing, headed somewhere else. Small relief. Up and at M. Soldier, Germans didn't go home just because you're tired. The weight of your helmet next to you is oddly reassuring. Small bit of protection in a dangerous place. When he stops by your position, you notice his hands don't even shake, despite everything. Get some rest, he says. They'll be back tomorrow. The Germans pulled back all the way to Holtz later. You'll find out Murphy killed or wounded about 50 German soldiers by himself. The waxed box holds a small tin of powdered eggs. You mix with water to make a pale paste, some rock-hard biscuits, a frozen chocolate bar, and more bitter instant coffee. Army gourmet at its best. You eat because you have tooth or cold burns through calories faster than summer fighting. Just staying warm is a battle of its own. The stars are out, sharp points of light in the clear winter sky. You think of home-warm beds, real meals, streets where no one wants to kill you. You shift a bit, finding a small patch where the ground doesn't press into your hip as much. The cold seeps through every layer, but your eyelids grow heavy. Your breathing slows and your muscles relax. One at a time. He held off an assault by 6 tanks and 250 imps. He saved what was left of Company B from being wiped out. The ground around the tank is covered with German dead. The attack slows, then stalls, then pulls back. Only then does Murphy climb down from the burning wreck and head back toward the trees. You press into the frozen ground, trying to disappear into it. Murphy is still there, alone now. Everyone else is falling back. The M10 tank destroyer is burning, black smoke rising, and Murphy climbs onto it. He takes up position behind a .50 caliber machine gun mounted on the burning tank destroyer. Bullets and artillery hit all around him. The tank could blow any second, but he stays there, firing at the German infantry, cutting them down in rows. When you peek up, you see one M10 get hit, a flash, an explosion, and the crew is gone. The survivors run for the trees. The second M10 fires again and again, trying to slow the tanks, but its shells bounce off the Panther's armor. It tries to back up into the trees for cover, but slides off the road and gets stuck in a ditch. Its gun useless now. Lieutenant Murphy is on the radio calling for artillery. His voice calm, but his shoulders tense. This is bad, very bad. German artillery starts up, and the forest explodes in noise and chaos. Lieutenant Murphy shouts orders. Fall back to the secondary position. Move. You know what that means? This spot is lost. But later you'll hear that when the artillery coordinator asked how close the Germans were, Murphy answered, just hold the phone, and I'll let you talk to one of the bastards for an hour. He stays up there on that burning tank destroyer, firing the .50 cal, calling in artillery, holding off hundreds of German soldiers alone. As you move back through the woods, staying low, you look back and freeze. You can't hear what he's yelling over the battle noise. You watch from the trees as the Germans try to flank him, as tank shells burst near him, as the M10 takes more hits and smokes even more. The American line sees limping from a leg wound but refuses to be of. When darkness falls, you're back in your foxhole at the edge of the woods. You settle deeper into your foxhole, wrapping your frozen blanket tighter around you. In the distance, you can still hear scattered artillery fire. But for now, there's a strange kind of calm. You take another slow, deep breath, watching it turn to mist in the freezing air, and settle in for another night in the frozen French woods. Morning comes too soon in these frozen trees. It doesn't arrive softly with sunlight through curtains, but with a sergeant's harsh voice kicking at your foxhole. Your body feels like it's made of lead and broken glass. Around you, the other men of Company B go through the same routine groaning as they stretch frozen limbs, swearing as they find out what gear froze overnight, trying to light cigarettes with numb fingers. Hey, Pastor Marcus, says the guy in the next foxhole. Mine are wet. You toss him your matchbook. Artillery rumbles in the distance again, probably German 88s. The sharp blast is as familiar to you now as your own heartbeat. Breakfast, if you can call it that, is more K rations. The waxed box holds a small tin of powdered eggs you mix with water to make a pale paste, some rock-hard biscuits, a frozen chocolate bar, and more bitter instant coffee. Army gourmet at its best. You eat because you have to. The cold burns through calories faster than summer fighting. Just staying warm is a battle of its own. Lieutenant Murphy appears, walking the line and checking positions. There's a bandage showing below his pant leg where he was hurt yesterday, but he moves without showing pain. War is often hours of waiting, broken by moments of chaos. You get one from your mom, one from your girl back in Ohio, that he held off a whole company by himself. You tuck them inside your jacket to read later, away from the others. Saw it myself. Climbed on a burning tank destroyer, fired the .50 cal, kept the Germans back for an hour. Best to read them alone if they make you tear up. There's also a pair of fresh socks, practically a luxury. You're not trying to scare them, but hope can be dangerous here. 6 men, led by a staff sergeant named Barlow, are ordered to check the area north of your position for any sign of German activity. Better to expect nothing and be surprised than count on something that never comes. In this cold, dry feet matter more than ammo. That I'm fine. It's not too bad. The food's good. I'm making friends. No use telling them about the constant fear. The cold that won't leave your bones. The men who vanish in bursts of red there one moment, gone the next. He folds the letter carefully. What else can you say? They'd just worry more if they knew the truth. You chew a piece of hard candy from your ration kit. Your body moves before your brain does diving into the foxhole. Jenkins drops in a heartbeat later, landing half on top of you as the world explodes. Trenchfoot has taken more men out than German bullets. You watch for tracks, broken branches, cigarette butts, any small sign that says, the enemy was here. The 3-hour patrol finds nothing except proof of how worn out you all are. Intelligence says they're shifting troops east to slow the Russian advance. Your regiment has orders to push forward tomorrow, to keep pressure on them, and stop an organized retreat. He nods, his face pale in the dim light. Yeah, I think so. You and Jenkins climb out of your foxhole and head toward the sound. In a nearby position, 2 men crouch over a third, even in the fading light. You see the ground is dark with blood. It's Barlow, the sergeant from your patrol. He's been hit by shrapnel. A jagged piece sticks out of his thigh. His face is gray with pain and shock. By the time you get back to the company's position, your legs feel weak and your lungs ache from the cold. All you can do is press into the dirt and hope the next shell dose and tea have your name on it. When it stops, the sudden silence is as shocking as the noise. Your ears ring. Dirt and pine needles are somehow inside your clothes, your mouth, everywhere. You spit and blink, trying to clear your head. Lieutenant Murphy is talking with the remaining officers when you return. Their faces are serious as they study a map spread across the hood of a Jeep. Something is up. The air smells of burnt wood and explosives. Voices call out in the dark, officers and NCOs checking on the men. You hear Murphy's voice nearby, calm and steady. You change socks right away, rubbing warmth back into your toes. They're pale and wrinkled but not black yet. No frostbite and other small wind. It would be beautiful if it weren't a battlefield. Jenkins sits nearby, writing a letter home in the last bit of daylight. You pass the time cleaning your rifle. The M1 Garand is well built but needs care, especially now. You take it apart, wiping down each piece with an oily cloth to keep rust away. The Atron clip is far better than the old bolt-action Springfield your dad carried in France in 1980, though he rarely talked about it. His face is thin, cheekbones sharp under skin that looks older than his age. He nods at you as he passes. Any movement from the village? He asks. Nothing yet, sir. You say, all quiet since dawn. He grunts in response. They took a hit yesterday, but they'll be back. Stay sharp. He moves on, saying a few words to each man. He looks tired, everyone does, but there's a calm certainty about him that keeps the men steady. You've seen officers who lead from far behind and treat soldiers like numbers. Murphy isn't like that. He's here in the dirt with you. The morning drags on. Around noon, a Jeep arrives with mail and supplies. Letters from home are worth more than gold out here. Hey, says the kid from early Jenkins. You remember now. Is it true what they're saying about Lieutenant Murphy? You nod, tucking your damp socks inside your shirt to dry with body heat. Jenkins whistles. They'll give him a medal for that. Probably if we live long enough for the brass to hear about it. After lunch, more K-Rash, this time a tin of processed meat that might generously be called. You get assigned to a patrol. Moving through the snow-covered woods takes a certain care. Every step slow, ears open for every sound. The winter landscape plays tricks on your eyes. Every shadow might hide a German soldier. Every noise could be someone taking aim. Word spreads through the ranks the Germans are pulling back from the Colmar pocket. That night, you eat your dinner, more K-ration, sitting at the edge of your foxhole, watching the sunset turn the snowy ground pink and gold. What do you tell them? You asked. Your family, He shrugs. You nod. Your own letters home say the same gentle lies. How'd you end up here anyway? Jenkins asks. Did you volunteer or get drafted? Volunteered, December 41, right after Pearl Harbor. Seemed like the right thing to do. Drafted last August. Didn't even finish high school. You're about to respond when a sharp whistle cuts the air, followed by the unmistakable sound of incoming artillery. The German barrage lasts 20 minutes. 20 minutes of earth-shaking blasts, splintering trees, men yelling. You okay? You ask Jenkins, still partly on top of you. Slowly, you both peek over the edge of the foxhole. The forest looks different where tall pines stood. There are broken stumps and fresh craters. Medic, we need a medic here. Someone shouts close by. You and Jenkins climb out of your foxhole and head toward the sound. In a nearby position, two men crouch over a third. Even in the fading light, you see the ground is dark with blood. It's Barlow, a sergeant from your patrol. He's been hit by shrapnel. A jagged piece sticks out of his thigh. His face is gray with pain and shock. A medic pushes past you, bag in hand. Give me space, fellas, and someone find me a light. You pull out your Zippo, flick it open, and hold it steady. The medic cuts away Barlow's pant leg, revealing a wound that makes your stomach turn. The sergeant clenches his teeth, refusing to cry out, while the medic works. You're gonna be fine, Sarge, the medic says, cleaning and bandaging the wound. This is your ticket home. The clouds that dropped light snow during the day clear out, exposing a wide canopy of stars. The beauty feels almost wrong with so much destruction below. Barlow shakes his head slightly. Can't leave my boy. He reaches out and grips your arm. Keep an eye on the new kid, he says, nodding at Jenkins. He's greener than grass. You just do. Focus on the next minute, the next hour. Don't look too far ahead. Not your choice. Sarge, this needs surgery. The night is full of small sounds, the creak of branches, the far-off rumble of vehicles, the occasional pop of a flare, lighting up the gap between your line and the village. Two men arrive with a stretcher and carefully lift Barlow onto it. You tense. Rifle ready, but it's just a deer. A small doe moving carefully through the snow. She freezes when she senses you, her big eyes catching the starlight. For a moment, you stare at each other, two living things in a place full of death. Then she turns and bounds away, her white tail flashing in the dark. You nod. Will do, Sarge. See you stateside. Your dreams are a mix of home and the war faces of friends, some alive, some gone. Your mother's voice mixed with the sound of falling shells. He explains the German artillery was likely covered for another attack. Your heart pounds, but your hands stay steady. You've done this before. You'll do it again, one foot in front of the other. The rising sun breaks through the clouds, turning the snow into a blinding sheet of light. For a moment, it's stunning. Then you're moving forward, boots crunching through the frozen crust, rifle ready. You shift your weight as you walk. The steady pace warms your muscles, loosens your joints. Your breathing settles into a calm pattern, breathing through your nose, out through your mouth, one step at a time toward whatever comes next. The morning light grows stronger by the minute. When it's time, you settle back into your foxhole together. Rifles ready, eyes scanning the dark. Thin smoke rises from a few chimneys. From a distance, it looks almost peaceful, like a holiday card. It's hard to believe it's full of Germans waiting to kill you. The temperature has dropped even lower. Your breath hangs in front of you in small clouds. Today, you move forward. Today, you take the fight to them. The morning fog lifts, showing the marks of yesterday's fight, the burned tank destroyer. Dark shapes of German soldiers still lying in the snow, churned earth from shell impacts. The enemy knows you're pushing forward tomorrow and wants to slow you down. Double the watch tonight, he says. Beside you, Jenkins does the same. His movements are stiff, his face set. He glances at you and gives a small nod. He's scared, but he'll move forward anyway. That's what courage looks like. He looks even more worn than yesterday, but his eyes are clear. 2 men per post, 4-hour shifts. Keep eyes on that village all night. We push to the village, clear it out, and keep moving, one foot in front of the other. That's how we win. But you both know you probably won't. That's just how it is out here. People come and go, mostly go. You don't dwell on it. The night grows darker and colder. Lieutenant Murphy calls a meeting of the NCOs and a few seasoned privates, including you. You and Jenkins are given the midnight to 4 a.m. shift. How do you stand it? Jenkins whispers after an hour. The waiting, knowing they might be watching us right now. You think about it. I'm scared, he admits. All the time. Everyone is. Only liars and fools say they aren't. After that, you both go quiet. The cold makes talking hard, and you need to listen more than you need to speak. Around 3 a.m., you spot movement at the forest's edge. When your shift ends, you wake the next watch and crawl back to your sleeping spot. Despite the cold and the hard ground, sleep comes quickly. Dawn comes with a pale gray light that does little to warm the frozen ground. But there's something different in the era's sense of purpose. As you get your gear ready, Lieutenant Murphy stops by your position. Ready? He asks. You nod, adjusting your helmet strap. Ready, sir. He grips your shoulder briefly, the weight of his hand steady through your coat. The company lines up at the forest's edge, facing the open field that leads to You check your rifle one last time, making sure a round is loaded. The signal passes down the line. It's time. You take a deep breath of the freezing air. Feel it. Fill your lungs. Murphy says nothing as you step from the tree line into the open field. Ahead, the village of Holtzware comes into view, a cluster of stone houses with red tile roofs now covered in snow. Crossing the open field is the most dangerous part, 200 yards, with nowhere to hide. Lieutenant Murphy has called in artillery to weaken any German defense, but artillery is never exact. Shells slam down with deafening force, throwing up snow and dirt around the village edge. You move in short rushes. 5 men run ahead while the rest give cover and fire. Then another group moves up, leapfrogging closer each time. The sharp chatter of the MG-42 Hitler's buzz saw cuts the air. Bullets snap overhead and kick up snow at your feet. You dive into a shallow dip in the ground. Contact front. Someone yells. Though the gunfire is clear enough, the weight of your gear, rifle, ammo, grenades, canteen, first aid kit, and trenching tool feels heavier with every step through knee-deep snow. Halfway across, the Germans open fire. Next to you, Jenkins hugs the ground, eyes wide with fear. This is his first real fight. You see panic rising in him. Keep your head down, you say. When I say move, we go. 3 o'clock, head for that fallen tree. Got it, he nods, too scared to speak. Inside, it's freezing. But there are signs people were here recently. Dirty dishes on the table, unmade beds, a pot of frozen stew on the stove. Move. Both of you scramble up and sprint toward the fallen trunk, about 15 yards away. The gun opens up again, but you're moving targets harder to hit. The wounded are treated, their weapons taken, and they're sent to the rear, under guard. Or dead. This place has changed hands 3 times in a month. You slide in behind the tree just as bullets smack into the wood. Jenkins is panting, more from fear than to run. Company B has only a few wounded, no one killed. It feels like a win, small, but real. The ovens are cold, but you can still smell bread. Your stomach growls. When was the last time you had fresh bread? Months ago, at least. You wait for a break in the firing, then tap his shoulder. It's a small stone building, maybe a century old, with a simple steeple. Up close, you see neat bullet holes in the backs of their heads. The big wooden door is partly open. Inside, it's dim and quiet, lit only by what sunlight filters through stained glass. The air smells of old stone and wax. You help carry the bodies outside to bury when there's time. Foxholes and firing positions, go in where you can dig them, or you use walls and ditches when the ground's too frozen. The Germans will likely counterattack, so you have to be ready. Murphy checks positions, stopping at yours and crouching by the wall. The ground is too frozen now, so you cover them with a tarp held down by stones. Collaborators maybe. Resupply should come tonight. Make it last. just in case. Or maybe they helped us. Or maybe they were just in the way. Doesn't take much. A low stone wall gives some cover. You scrape out a shallow hole behind it. You think we'll hold this place? Jenkins sticks close, like he's latched onto you for good. Pews line the floor. A plain altar stands at the front. It all looks untouched by the fighting except for the 2 bodies in the front pew. Jesus Christ, he gasps. You're okay, you tell him. Just keep moving forward. That's it. You both sit on the floor and eat 'em with your fingers. Sweet and cold, best thing you've tasted in weeks. It's painfully slow, but it works. Murphy is up ahead with the lead group, directing the push. They'll come from the east, most likely. Forrest gives them cover. Stay sharp. Even from here, you can spot him small in size. But his movement's clear and sure. He points, signals, and men react fast. Real leadership. All along the line, the company does the same advance. Cover. Advance again. Murphy stands in the square, conferring with other officers over maps spread on a Jeep hood. The artillery has helped. Several buildings on the village edge are damaged. German fire is now scattered, not steady. You push forward again, reaching the first houses. Any one of them could hide snipers or machine guns. Any window might hide a rifle. Any doorway a trap. You clear houses in groups of 4. 1 kicks in the door to go in, covering different angles. The 4th stays outside to guard. It's tense. Risky work. Clearing a village is a special kind of hell. About 30 buildings circle a small square. The first place you clear with Jenkins and 2 others is a small farmhouse. Where are the civilians? Jenkins asks, scanning the empty home. Evacuated if they were lucky, you say, or hiding in cellars. You keep moving, house to house. Some are empty, others have German soldiers, some alive and fighting, some wounded, some dead from the shelling. By midday, most of Holtzweiler is under American control. The last Germans fall back to the far edge. You and Jenkins find yourselves in what used to be a bakery. Think there's anything left? Jenkins asks, rummaging through cupboards. Doubt it. Germans would have eaten it all. But he keeps looking and finds a jar of preserved cherries hidden behind some flour sacks. Should we share? Jenkins asks, mouth stained red. You think for a second, then shake your head. Spoils of war. Kid, enjoy it while you can. Through the window, you see soldiers securing positions, setting up machine guns. After the cherries, you join a group sent to check the church at the village center. An elderly couple sits side by side, hands clasped from behind. They look like they're praying. Why? Jenkins whispers. They were just old people. You've seen it before. It hits everyone hard. This is what you're fighting on, Army, but also the thinking that makes killing old people in a church acceptable. By late afternoon, the company sets up a defensive line around Holtzweiler machine guns. Cover every approach. You and Jenkins are placed at a 2-man post at the northeast edge of town, in what used to be a garden. As the sun sets, long blue shadows stretch across the snow. How's ammo? He asks. 6 clips for the M1. 2 grenades. You say Jenkins has about the same. Murphy nods. Any movement out there? Nothing yet, so he studies the field and tree line. When he leaves, Jenkins turns to you. We'll try. That's all we can do. The temperature drops fast once the sun's down. The clear day gives way to a brutal night. Your breath turns to frost on your scarf. Any skin left uncovered goes numb quickly. You and Jenkins take turns, one on watch while the other tries to rest. Sleep comes in short, uncomfortable bursts. You dream of warmth, of home, of a real bed. You wake to Jenkins shaking your shoulder. His face looks pale in the moonlight. Your turn, he whispers. You sit up, stiff and sore. Every joint complains. You feel too old for this, even though you're only 23. But out here, it's not years that age you, it's miles. The endless marching, the heavy loads, the nights on frozen ground. You feel used up. You settle behind the wall, scanning the dark. The moon is nearly full, throwing enough light to see the open field and the woods beyond. Nothing moves. except drifting snow caught by the wind. The silence is complete, broken only by the soft sound of your own breathing. This is the hardest part of war, not the fighting, but the waiting. Endless hours of watching when nothing happens. Your mind plays tricks. Shadows look like enemy soldiers. The wind sounds like whispered German orders. And tired eyes imagine movement that isn't there during these quiet hours. Thoughts of home comfort you and hurt you at the same time. You picture your parents' house in Ohio, your mother's cooking, your father's laugh. You think of your girl, Sarah, and wonder if she's still waiting. Her letters say she is, but you've seen how distance wears people down. Sometimes the bond breaks. A soft rustle beside you means Jenkins has given up on sleep. He sits down next to you, rifle across his knees. Can't sleep, you ask. Feet are too cold, he says. Figured I'd keep you company instead. You share a cigarette, cupping your hands around the glow so it can't be seen. It's against the rules, but out here small comforts matter. The rough tobacco burns your throat but warms you for a moment. You got someone waiting back home, Jenkins asks, passing the cigarette back. Girl named Sarah. We've been together since high school. He shakes his head. Nah, never had much luck with girls. Too shy, I guess. You'll find someone when you get back. Women like a man in uniform. If I get back, he says softly. You don't offer empty words. You both know the truth. So you change the topic. Tell me about your home. Where you from? Small town in Pennsylvania. Cold country. My dad works the mines. Wanted me to do the same. But I hoped the army might give me a shot at something better. He laughs under his breath. Careful what you wish for, right? The talk drifts through the night, voices low in the dark. You learn Jenkins has 3 younger sisters, was captain of his high school baseball team, wanted to be a teacher. You tell him about Ohio, your job at the auto plant before the war, your plans to marry Sarah when you're back. These talks do more than pass the time. They build trust between you. They remind you what you're fighting for, not just ideas like freedom or democracy, but the simple right to go home and live your life. Dawn brings a shift in the weather. Heavy gray clouds roll in and wet snow starts to fall, piling up fast. It's harder to see now. I don't like this, you mutter, staring into the swirling snow. Perfect cover for an attack. As if on cue, the sound of artillery starts. Beyond the forest, shells scream overhead and slam into the village with thunderous blasts. You and Jenkins press deep into your foxhole as dirt and debris rain down. The barrage lasts 20 minutes, methodical and brutal. The Germans sweep their fire across the village, leaving almost nothing untouched. When it stops, the sudden quiet is broken only by wounded men calling out and the crackle of fires. Here they come, you say, spotting shapes moving at the forest edge. Dark figures push through the snow, many of them at least a company. You fire at the advancing Germans, steadying your aim. The M1 kicks back into your shoulder. You work the bolt, fire again until the clip pops out with its sharp ping. Jenkins is shooting too nervous, but hitting targets all along the line. American guns roar to life. The deep bursts of .30 calibers mix with rifle shots. The Germans keep pushing forward, using the snow for cover, moving in short bursts just like you did when you attacked. An enemy machine gun opens up to your right. Bullets crack overhead, biting into the stone wall. You duck, dragging Jenkins lower with you. We have to move. You shout over the noise that MG's got us pinned. Staying low, you crawl along the wall until you find better cover behind a fallen tree. The Germans push forward despite their losses, determined to take Holtz back through a break in the snowfall. You spot a German officer directing his men. He's partly exposed. You steady your breath, aim, and fire. He drops the German line, wavers, but keeps coming. A mortar hits nearby, covering you in snow and dirt. Your ears ring. Jenkins looks at you, checking if you're hurt. You give him a thumbs up, though you feel warm blood trickle from your ear. The fight drags on for over an hour. The Germans push right up to the village edge before the American defense holds. Friendly artillery finally lands among the exposed enemy ranks. The Germans begin to pull back first in small groups, then more at once. By mid-morning, the attack breaks off. The field between the village and forest is now dotted with dark shapes in the snow-fallen German soldiers. The village itself has taken heavy damage. Several houses burned despite the snow, and the church steeple has half collapsed. Medics move among the lines, tending the wounded. You help Jenkins bandage a small piece of shrapnel in his arm. Nothing bad enough to send him back. Your own ear has stopped bleeding, though it still rings. Lieutenant Murphy appears, moving from one post to the next. His uniform is dirty and torn, a smear of blood on his cheek that may not be his. He looks worn out, but sharp. "Good job holding the line," he says. More German units are moving in from the north. "They're not finished yet." "How long do we hold, sir?" you asked. He gives a tired smile. "Until we're relieved or overrun. Hopefully the first one. The rest of the day brings random gunfire." German snipers take shots at anyone careless enough to stand up. A few stray shells land here and there, keeping everyone tense. You and Jenkins rest in short turns, never fully asleep. The snow keeps falling, slowly covering the battlefield in a clean white sheet. During one break, you find a half-buried cellar under a damaged house. It's warmer below ground, out of the wind. You and Jenkins make a small hideout, hanging a blanket over the door to block light from your single candle dot here. For a moment, you let yourselves breathe. You share a can of meat from your rations, using a bayonet as a spoon. Jenkins pulls out an old deck of cards and you play a few hands of gin rummy. "You think we'll push forward tomorrow?" he asks, laying down a 3 of clubs. "Depends what intel says. One village at a time, that's how we win." "One village at a time," he repeats, like he's testing the idea. "Feels like forever." "Won't be forever. Germans are running low on men and supplies. We keep pushing, they keep falling back. Sooner or later, they break. You don't say how many men it will cost, or that new replacements keep arriving to fill the spots left by the dead and wounded. You don't say you wonder if you'll be one of the lucky ones who makes it home. When night comes, you go back to your post. The snow has stopped, and the sky clears to show a blanket of stars. The cold returns fast, making your fingers stiff around your rifle. Sometime after midnight, in the deepest dark, you hear a soft sound from Jenkins. At first you think he's talking in his sleep, but then you realize he's crying, trying to muffle it in his sleeve. You act like you don't notice. Lots of men cry out here, especially the newer ones. The fear, the cold, the homesickness, it piles up until something breaks. Better to let it out now, alone in the dark, than in a fight. After a while, he stops. He wipes his face with a gloved hand. "Sorry," he whispers. "Nothing to be sorry for." You say, "Get some sleep. I'll wake you if anything happens." He settles back down, breathing evening out. You keep watch over him and the quiet fields beyond, guardian of this small moment of rest. The weight of your rifle feels steady and sure in your hands. The night stretches on, star-filled and silent. Now and then, a distant flare lights up the sky, turning the snowy ground silver for a few seconds before fading away. Your breath drifts in pale clouds on the cold breeze. Despite the danger and cold, there's a strange calm in these quiet hours. Your muscles slowly relax as you settle into the routine of the watch. Your breathing steadies, the tightness in your shoulders eases bit by bit. You shift slightly, leaning more comfortably against the stone wall. The village sleeps around you, damaged but still holding. Tomorrow will bring what it brings, more fighting, most likely, but for now, there's only the night, the stars, and the soft sound of Jenkins breathing beside you. You tucked your hands inside your jacket to warm them, feeling your fingers start to thaw. Easy now, just breathe, watch, and wait. The weight of your helmet feels steady on your head. You take a deep breath, exhaling slowly as your muscles loosen, one by one, while the stars wheel overhead. Morning brings clear skies and new activity. You wake to the sound of engines, American trucks and jeeps arriving from the west. Reinforcements at last. You nudge Jenkins awake. He blinks at you, confused, for a moment until the harsh reality returns. Looks like we're getting help, you say, nodding at the convoy. Fresh troops step off the trucks, uniforms still fairly clean, faces free of the hollow look that marks veterans. They look around at the battered village with a mix of curiosity and worry. Lieutenant Murphy meets with the new officers while the sergeants handle the supplies. You and Jenkins get in line for ammunition. Each of you gets 3 bandoliers of M1 clips. The quartermaster also hands out dry socks and almost unbelievably Hershey bars. Real Hershey's, Jenkins says, eyes wide as he pockets his. I'm saving this for a special day. You're more practical, tearing yours open and biting off a piece. The sweetness hits hard after weeks of plain rations. Special day is today, kid. Might not get another shot. Orders come down through the sergeants. The company moves out in an hour. Heading northeast toward the Rhine. Intel says the Germans are setting up a new defensive line about 10 miles ahead. Your job is to keep them moving. Don't let them dig in. You use the hour to get ready. First, you check your feet. You find a mostly intact building with a working pump and get enough water to wash your socks. While they dry by a small fire, you check your feet carefully. No trench foot, yet skin pale and wrinkled but not black or swollen. You rub feeling back in, then pull on fresh socks, saving the clean pair for tomorrow. Jenkins does the same. His feet are worse off, with blisters on both heels, but still good enough to walk. You show him how to take the raw spots before putting on the new socks. Thanks, he says. My dad always said, take care of your feet, and they'll take care of you. Smart man, your dad. Next is your rifle. You break down your M1, clean each part carefully. Dirt, grit, and moisture can kill a rifle, and a jammed rifle can kill you. You put it back together, work the action to be sure it's smooth, then load a fresh clip. By the time the order comes to move, you're as ready as you can be. Company B lines up on the northeast edge of Holtz, with Murphy up front. He looks better after some rest. The edge of exhaustion gone from his face. We're pushing to Yebsheim, he tells the men, pointing to a spot on the map about 8 miles northeast. Germans are pulling back, but they'll fight delaying actions the whole way. Stay alert, keep your spacing, watch the trees. The march starts under a cold winter sun. Yesterday's snow left 6 inches of fresh powder over the ground. It's bleak but beautiful. The white sheet is broken only by tank tracks and the dark shapes of fallen soldiers no one has buried yet. Walking through deep snow drains your strength. Every step needs effort to lift your boot and push it down again. The column crawls forward, scouts out ahead and on the flanks. Around midday, you reach a crossroads where a stone farmhouse stands alone among empty fields. Scouts say it looks abandoned, but Murphy takes no risks. He sends a squad to clear it, while the rest of you cover them. You watch the squad move up carefully to cover the door, while a third kicks it open. Then they rush in with weapons ready. But something feels off. The house is too quiet. You're right. Muzzle flashes light up the windows as German guns open fire. It's an ambush. The farmhouse covers the crossroads perfectly. 2 Americans go down right away, caught in the open. Contact front. The shout goes up as everyone drops to the snow, returning fire. A German machine gun inside the stone walls rips through the noise. It sounds sharp and steady. Murphy is already reacting. He directs a light machine gun team to lay down fire and calls for the bazooka team rifle fire. Won't do much against stone walls. The medic crawls under fire to the fallen men. He pulls one back alive, but can't help the other. His blood stains the snow bright red. The bazooka team sets up, aims, and fires. The rocket blasts away with a whoosh, slamming into the wall and blowing a hole through it. A second shot, then a third follow. When the last explosion fades, a white cloth appears in the broken window, a surrender flag. 4 German soldiers come out slowly, hands up. They're young, hardly older than Jenkins, look thin and worn. Uniforms patched and rough. As they're searched, one speaks broken English. War is over for us, he says without meeting your eyes. Better to live. You feel no anger, only tired understanding. They did their job, same as you. If things were different, you could be the one surrendering. The Germans are sent back under guard. The farmhouse cost time and a life, but it could have been worse. Murphy looks grim as he pulls the company back together. The march continues. Miles pass under your boots slowly. The ground shifts to woods and low hills, replacing the flatland around Holtz. Each tree line, each hilltop could hide another ambush. The company moves with care. Late in the afternoon, you see something half buried, ahead a single boot. Looking closer, you see it still on a leg. An American soldier, half covered in snow, eyes staring at the sky, rifle frozen in his grip. 3rd Battalion came through here yesterday, Murphy says, stopping beside you. Took heavy fire. You kneel and check the dog tags. James Mitchell, Tennessee. You never knew him, but you're linked by the uniform. You close his eyes and cover his face with his scarf. It's all you can do. Should we bury him, sir? Jenkins asks. Murphy shakes his head. Graves registration will handle it. We have to keep moving. It's the harsh truth of war, a dead weight, while the living press on. You mark the spot on your map so they can find him later. Then move out. By nightfall, you've covered 6 miles, not what you hoped for, but good enough. The company sets up a defensive line in a small stand of trees that shields you from the wind. No fires are allowed this close to the enemy, so dinner is cold. Crations again. As darkness settles, the cold tightens its grip worse than the last night's. It must be well below zero. Your canteen freezes solid in an hour. Your breath turns to ice on your scarf. Even blinking hurts as frost forms on your lashes. How cold do you think it is? Jenkins asks, teeth chattering as he huddles close in your shared foxhole. Too damn cold to care, you answer. I was in Bastogne last month. This is worse. To keep warm, you sit shoulder to shoulder, sharing one blanket between you. It's not much, but better than nothing. Sleep comes in short pieces, broken up by shifting and stamping your feet to keep your blood moving. Around midnight, snow starts falling again. Big flakes pile up fast. Within an hour, there's 3 new inches covering everything. It actually helps a bit, an extra layer of insulation over your foxhole, but it also cuts visibility to nothing. Perfect cover for an enemy push. It happens just before dawn when soldiers are most worn out. Mortar first, dozens of shells pounding your position with deadly accuracy. The Germans have marked this spot well. You and Jenkins flatten into the bottom of your hole as snow, dirt, and bits of trees rain down. The blasts hit your ears like hammers through the swirling snow. Dark shapes appear. German infantry in white winter gear, moving forward behind the mortar fire. They're hard to see, ghosts in the storm. Contact front. The shout rings out, and American rifles open up. Your M1 bucks in your hands as you fire at the shapes. Jenkins is firing too. His earlier nerves gone. He shoots because he has to. The Germans push on, using the snow to cover their move. They're close, now too close. You can hear them yelling orders. A stick grenade lands nearby, blasting sharp fragments over your cover. Running low, Jenkins calls, checking his pouches. You toss him one of yours. Make him count. The fight turns messy and close. Germans appear and vanish in the snow. Some fall, others keep coming. A group breaks through the line to your left, trying to flank you. Murphy's voice cuts through the chaos, ordering a squad to seal the gap. Even in the middle of the swirling fight, he stays aware, adjusting the defense as needed. You spot a German officer giving orders, waving his arms toward the American line. You aim carefully and squeeze the trigger. He falls. The German push hesitates for a moment, then surges forward again with fresh force. A machine gun starts firing to your right. American by the sound. Its steady bursts cut through the German ranks, forcing them to take cover. Murphy has placed his guns well, creating overlapping lines of fire. For 20 minutes, the fight stays close and fierce. You keep firing until your rifle gets too hot to hold, even in the freezing air. Jenkins does the same. The snow around your hole is torn. up and blackened by explosions, littered with brass casings and dropped gear. Asterisk, asterisk, then, as fast as it began, the German push ends. The remaining soldiers in white pull back, dragging their wounded with them. They fade into the falling snow like shadows, leaving only their dead behind. In the sudden quiet, you hear wounded men calling out for medics, American and German, voices mixing in pain. The company medics move in, treating everyone they can. Jenkins leans back against the foxhole wall, his face smeared with dirt and gunpowder. "That was close," he says, his voice shaky. "Too close," you answer, checking your ammo. "You're down to your last clip." Lieutenant Murphy moves down the line, checking each spot, giving quick reassurances. When he reaches you, you see the stress on his face, though his voice stays steady. "Good job holding the line," he says. "Reports say they're pulling back to Yebshim. We'll push on once it's light. Ammo's low." "Sir," you report, "resupplies on the way, should be here within the hour." He pauses, looking at Jenkins. "You all right, Private?" Jenkins nods, sitting up straighter. "Yes, sir. Ready to move." Murphy pats his shoulder. "Good man." As he walks on, Jenkins glances at you, surprised. He remembered my name. He makes a point of knowing his men. You say, "That's why we'd follow him anywhere." The sky brightens slowly while snow keeps falling. The battlefield appears in the growing light. Shell craters mark the ground. Trees stand splintered and jagged. Dark shapes lie half buried in the drift, some still moving, others not. The promised resupply comes up, carried by a squad from the support company. You get 2 bandoliers of M1 clips and a couple of grenades. There's even a thermos of hot coffee, almost unreal out here. You and Jenkins take turns with it, feeling warmth spread through your bodies for the first time in days. Small comforts mean everything out here. The company reorganizes for the next push. Losses have been light, considering 3 dead, 7 wounded badly enough to be sent back. Others with minor injuries stay with the unit. Among infantrymen, it's understood you don't leave unless you can't keep going. By mid-morning, the snow stops and you can see farther. The company moves out, advancing carefully through the torn-up ground. You're still with Jenkins' second squad, Murphy leading from the front, as always. The day blurs into a mix of fatigue and focus, miles of snowy ground. Short exchanges of fire with German rearguards, quick stops to rest. Your world shrinks to your rifle. You're breathing, the footsteps ahead. By late afternoon, you see Yebshim, ahead another small village, with stone houses and a church steeple. Smoke rises from spots around it, signs of fighting. The sound of artillery grows louder. 3rd Battalion is already there, locked in. Company B halts in a patch of woods about half a mile from the village. Murphy gathers the squad leaders, while the rest of you rest. You lean against a tree, rubbing warmth back into your feet. Jenkins drops beside you, so tired he can barely keep his eyes open. "Almost there," you say. "Yeah," he murmurs, "last stronghold before the Rhine. Once we take it, the Germans are on the defensive for good." He nods, too tired for more words. You hand him your canteen, thawed enough to drink. He takes a few gulps, then passes it back. The break ends fast. The squad leaders return with new orders. Company B will help 3rd Battalion attack Yebshim from the southwest while they hit it from the west. Time, 1800, just before dusk. You check your watch. An old Belova. That was your father's. It's 1645. Not long now. You help Jenkins up, and together you check your weapons one last time. His hands are steady, his movements quick changed. From the green replacement you first met into a soldier. "Listen," you tell him, adjusting your helmet strap. "Stick close when we go in. Fighting in a village is different, faster, more confusing. Watch the windows, machine guns. Love windows." He nods firmly. "I'll stay with you." As the company lines up, Murphy moves among the men, offering a quick word or nod. When he reaches you and Jenkins, he stops. "This won't be easy," he says, straightforward. "The Germans know the Rhine is their last natural barrier. They'll fight hard for Yebshim." "We'll fight harder, sir," you say. He smiles a quick grin that makes him look young again. I know. That's why we'll win. At exactly 1800, the artillery starts. American guns pound Bedtime, shaking the ground. Smoke and dust rise over the village. After 5 minutes, the signal comes advance. The company moves forward in spread-out lines, each man 5 yards apart to reduce losses. The ground slopes down toward the village, offering little cover, only snowdrifts and frozen ditches halfway to the houses. German machine guns open up. The fire is steady, sweeping the line. Men drop some hit, others finding what cover they can. You and Jenkins dive into a shallow ditch, pressing into the frozen ground. Crawl forward. You shout, use the ditch. You move together, elbows and knees biting into the snow, rifles held above it. It's slow, painful, but it keeps you alive. Others do the same, creeping toward the village under steady fire. Murphy is up ahead, setting up a machine gun team to return fire, ignoring the risk. He moves openly, shifting from spot to spot. You've seen it before, what looks like recklessness but is really careful risk. The sun slips behind the trees. Dusk settling in. In the gloom, muzzle flashes stand out clear against the village. The American push keeps moving, despite losses. This is what infantry does, takes hits and keeps going. You reach the edge of Bedtime as darkness falls completely. The first buildings rise ahead, windows dark, hiding what's inside. Street fighting dangerous, close, unpredictable, about to start. Murphy gathers a group, you and Jenkins included. We clear these buildings one by one, he says, calm despite bullets cracking overhead. 4-man teams. Standard procedure. I'll take the first house, Murphy says. Davis, you're with me. Johnson and Williams, you two too. You feel a wave of relief that you and Jenkins aren't in the first team, followed quickly by guilt for feeling that way. Murphy catches your eye and you see understanding there. He's felt the same fear, the same relief, the same guilt. Second team goes in 1 minute after us. He continues. That's you, Richards. Take Jenkins, Miller, and Thompson. Clear the building to the right. You nod. Yes, sir. Murphy checks his watch. Sync now. We move in exactly 3 minutes. Those minutes stretch on forever as you get ready. You run through the plan with Jenkins again, making sure he knows his job's second in line. Covering the left side of each room while you take the right. Miller and Thompson cover the rear and back you up. Remember speed and force. You remind him, move fast, shoot first. Anyone inside is a threat unless we know otherwise. Jenkins looks pale in the dim light, but his jaw is tight. I'm ready. When the time comes, Murphy's team moves up. They reach the first house, a 2-story stone building with closed shutters. Murphy signals Davis, kicks the door in, and they rush inside. Gunfire breaks out almost right away. You count the seconds, then signal your team forward. The next building looks like a small shop with living space above. Its door is slightly open immediately, puts you on guard. Could be a trap. You pull a grenade from your belt, pull the pin, and toss it through the gap. The blast echoes inside, then you're through the doorway. Jenkins right behind you. The front room is empty except for broken furniture and debris. You sweep quickly to the next room right side for you, left for Jenkins. It's a kitchen, empty too, though a pot still sits on the cold stove. Miller and Thompson clear the rest of the ground floor while you and Jenkins head upstairs. Moving carefully on the creaking steps. At the top is a small landing with doors leading off to bedrooms. The first is empty. The second holds an elderly German couple huddled on a bed, terrified by the fighting and your sudden entry. You lower your rifle a little. Nicht schießen, the old man pleads. Don't shoot. His wife adds, we're Zivilisten. We are civilians. You use what little German you have to tell them to stay put. You're not here to hurt them. They nod quickly, agreeing to anything that keeps them alive. The rest of the house is clear of soldiers. You leave Thompson to keep an eye on the couple while you and the others finish checking every closet and corner. Outside, the battle goes on house by house, building by building. The village is slowly cleared. It's slow, dangerous work. Now and then the night shatters with a grenade blast or a burst of gunfire. Flares light up the scene, throwing harsh, light and deep shadows that twist the familiar into something threatening. Once your building is secure, you regroup outside. Murphy's team has cleared theirs too, though Davis has a small wound from flying debris. Keep moving, Murphy orders. Next block. Same teams. And so it goes through the long night. The same pattern repeats. Approach, enter, clear, secure. Some houses are empty. Others hold scared civilians. A few have German soldiers, some fight, some surrender when they see it's hopeless. By dawn, half of Yebsheim is under American control. The Germans still hold a northern section around the church, with machine guns covering the approaches and snipers in the bell tower. Asterisk, your team has been lucky so far. No casualties yet. Though there have been close calls, Jenkins has done well. His early nerves replaced by steady focus. You feel proud of him, how quickly he's grown in just a few days. As daylight grows and the winter sky clears, Murphy calls a short halt so the men can rest and reload. The company sets up a temporary command post in a mostly intact building near the center of the secured area. Ammo is handed out, wounds are treated, and cold rations are eaten with the blank look of men too tired to taste them. You find a corner and sit down, your back to the wall, rifle across your knees. Jenkins sits next to you, his face smeared with dirt and sweat despite the freezing air. He hands you a cigarette. You take it and cup your hands around the match to light it. How long do you think it'll take to clear the rest? He asks, nodding toward the north where gunshots still echo. You blow out smoke. Another day. Maybe two. Depends how hard they fight. He nods, thoughtful. And after that, we keep going. All the way to Berlin if we have to. The talk fades. You're both too worn out. You don't sleep fully, it would be dangerous. But you drift in and out, half aware of your surroundings. Your body loosens bit by bit, tension draining away in these few stolen moments. Jenkins leans against your shoulder, breathing slow and deep. You let him rest, keeping a lazy watch with half-open eyes. Asterisk around you. Other men do the same, resting however they can. Murphy moves among them, checking on the wounded, making sure ammo is shared out fairly. Though he's been awake and fighting as long as anyone, he shows little sign of it, except for a slight stiffness when he crouches down next to you. Get some rest while you can, he says quietly. We move again at noon. You nod, too tired to reply. He gives your shoulder a quick squeeze, then moves to the next group. Outside, the winter sun climbs higher, light spilling through broken windows, casting sharp patterns on the floor. Gunfire still cracks off, and on snipers on both sides looking for targets. In this brief pause between fights, you relax deeper. The helmet feels heavy on your head, but you don't take it off. The threat is still too close. Your eyelids droop anyway, your breathing slowing to match Jenkins. The cold wall at your back feels steady, something solid in the madness. You shift a little, easing stiff muscles, telling yourself, just a little rest. Just enough to be ready. Through the broken window, you spot a patch of clear blue, sky bright, peaceful. It makes you think of home, of summer days that seemed endless, of life before the war. You draw a slow breath, holding on to that memory for a moment. Your rifle stays across your knees, its weight steady and familiar. Your hands rest on it, lightly, ready to lift it at the first threat. But for now, just for these few minutes, you let yourself drift in that space between sleep and wakefulness. Your body gives in to exhaustion while your mind stays half alert, holding the line inside. Murphy's voice breaks the moment. Saddle up, where, moving out. You blink away the fog and nudge Jenkins awake. He startles, forgetting for a second where he is, then remembers. Time to go, you say. Outside, the winter sun sits high in a clear sky. The snow is wet and heavy now underfoot. The gunfire grows louder, again most of it coming from the north, near the church. Murphy explains the plan. Simple, but risky. Company B will push through the tight streets to the church square, clearing buildings as they go. The Germans have turned the church area into their main defense, with machine guns and snipers covering all ways in. Intel says they've got about a company dug in. Murphy tells the squad leaders, well supplied and ready to fight. It'll be block by block, house to house. You check your gear one more time. Ammo pouches full, grenades on your belt, canteen topped up with water that tastes like iodine, rations stuffed in your pockets, rifle clean and ready. Exhaustion tugs at you, but you're steady. Jenkins mirrors you, his movements almost as smooth as yours now. He's quick, adaptable. If he lives through this, he'll do fine at whatever comes next. The push starts at 1300 hours. Company B moves up the main street toward the church. The Germans are ready, every corner covered by machine guns, snipers waiting above. Each crossing is a trap if you're careless. Progress is painfully slowed away to doorway, house to house, never safe for a second. The Germans fight for a second. The Germans fight for every foot of ground with stubborn resolve. In the third house you clear, you come across a German sniper hidden in an upstairs bedroom. He's young, barely old enough to shave. He manages to fire once, missing you by inches, before Jenkins puts a bullet through his chest. The boy, and he really is just a boy, looks shocked as he dies, as if he never believed it would happen to him. He couldn't have been more than 16, Jenkins says, his voice unsteady as you search the body for any useful information. Hitler scraping the bottom now, you reply. Volkssturm units old. Men and boys. The real soldiers are mostly gone. You find a letter in the boy's pocket from his mother in Bavaria. You can't read all of it, but pick out a few words. Lieber dear, Vermissen miss, Zur command, come back. Promises that will never be kept now. Despite the numbness that fighting brings, you feel a pang of regret. This boy was someone's son. Someone prayed for him to come home safe. Now he's just one more lost life in a war that's already taken millions. You slip the letter into your pocket, not as a trophy, but because it feels wrong to leave it behind. Maybe one day it can reach his family, a small bit of comfort for their loss. The push continues, building by building. By late afternoon, Company B has advanced to within 100 yards of the church square. Casualties have been light too, men wounded badly enough to be sent back. A few more, with minor wounds, who stay in the fight. Lieutenant Murphy calls a halt at the last row of houses before the open square. The church stands clear ahead, its stone walls marked by artillery hits, its steeple damaged, but still up. German machine gun posts are dug in around it, behind sandbags and rubble. Crossing that open space head-on would be suicide. We need to flank them, Murphy says, scanning through his binoculars. Richards, take your squad through these buildings on the right. Find a spot to hit their machine guns from the side. You nod and gather your squad, 8 men, Jenkins among them. The buildings, Murphy pointed out, are a line of connected shops with flats above. Their rear walls back onto an alley that might give you cover to move close to the church's flank. Moving through the buildings is risky. Each doorway and room could hide an enemy. You clear each one slowly, using hand signals to stay quiet. In the third building, you find what you need, a second-floor window with a clear line of sight to the German positions from the side there. Machine guns are aimed at the main road, leaving their flank open. You set up your squad's Browning automatic rifle, manned by Private Wilson, at the window. The bar can lay down heavy fire. The rest of the squad spreads out to cover other windows. You use your field phone to update Lieutenant Murphy. We're in place, sir. Clear field of fire on their right. Ready when you are. Good work, he replies. Stand by. Artillery in 5 minutes. Then you hit them. The 5 minutes feel endless as you watch the Germans through your sights. They don't know you're there, still focused on the main street. You can see about 20 of them dug in around the church, more likely inside. Their faces look as worn as yours, but they stay alert. Then the artillery starts. American 105 millimeters howitzers pound the area around the church. Not directly on it, the stone walls would hold up, but close enough to keep heads down. Fire, you shout. Wilson fires the bar. Heavy rounds rake the exposed flank. The Germans are caught off guard. Your squad adds rifle fire, creating a deadly crossfire. At the same time, Murphy leads Company B in a frontal push across the square. It's risky, but with the artillery and your flank fire, they stand a chance. The Germans fight back hard, swinging some of their guns toward you, while still trying to stop the main push. Bullets smash through the window glass, forcing you to shift and duck. Jenkins is beside you, firing steadily, focused and calm. He's a different man now than the nervous recruit who showed up days ago. Combat changes people fast. It either breaks them or toughens them. Jenkins has hardened. The fight for the church square lasts 20 minutes that feel like hours. The Germans defend every step, but can't escape the crossfire. One by one, their positions are overrun or silenced. When it's done, the square is in American hands. The few Germans left either flee north or surrender. The cost is half a men from Company B dead. Another dozen wounded, but Yebshim's church square, the last major German position here, has fallen. You lead your squad down to rejoin the main force. The church itself still needs to be cleared. There could be Germans inside, making a final stand. Murphy gathers a team and picks you to lead it. Take 4 men, he says. Go fast, be thorough, watch for traps. You pick Jenkins and 3 more. The big wooden church door is half blown apart by artillery. You approach carefully, watching for any sign of movement. Grenades first. You tell your men. 2 of them toss fragmentation grenades through the doorway. The blasts echo inside the stone walls, then silence. Go. You order, and the team rushes through. Inside is ruined pews, overturned for barricades. The altar used as a firing point. Ammo boxes stacked near broken statues. The stained glass windows are smashed, colored shards scattered on the stone floor. But there are no defenders left, just 3 German soldiers dead among the wreckage, killed by the grenades or the shelling. The rest have fled or given up. You check the bell tower, to a risky climb, up tight spiral stairs. On the way up, you think about the irony fighting and dying in a church. The Germans turned a holy place into a fortress. Now it's become a grave. War corrupts everything it touches. At the top, you look out over the whole village and the countryside. To the north, the last Germans pull back toward the Rhine, under American artillery fire. To the south and west, American units are digging in, treating the wounded, ready for what comes next. In the distance, the Rhine is a silver line in the winter landscape. Beyond that is Germany itself, the enemy's own land. The war isn't over, but the tide has turned. Now, the Germans fight for their own ground. You climb down and report to Murphy. Church is clear, sir. Good vantage point from the tower. He nods over his map. Good work. Get your men some rest. We hold here tonight. We move on the Rhine tomorrow. The rest of the day is filled with routine tasks that fill the gaps between battles. Ammo is shared out. The wounded are sent back. Defensive lines set up in case of a counterattack. Cold rations are eaten without complaint. Fuel for what's ahead. When night falls, the temperature drops again, but not as sharply as before. You find shelter in a partly damaged house near the square. The roof has a hole from shelling, but the walls are solid. A small fire in the fireplace gives off some welcome heat. Jenkins sits beside you, cleaning his rifle out of habit. In the firelight, his face looks older, the boyish look almost gone after days of combat and constant danger. Think we'll make it? He asks suddenly. All the way to the end, I mean. You think for a moment, poking the fire. Some of us will. Some won't. That's just how it is. Not great odds. Better than they were a year ago. Germans are running out men, supplies, time. Now they're fighting for their own ground. Which makes them dangerous, but they can't win. They know it. We know it. It's only a matter of how long it takes and how many more lives are lost before they admit it. He nods, putting his rifle back together with practiced hands. If I make it out, I'm going to be a teacher like. I plan to teach kids about all this, so they know what it cost. That's good. You say someone has to remember. The talk fades. As exhaustion pulls you both down, Jenkins wraps himself in a blanket and falls asleep, sitting up his back, resting on the wall. You stay awake. a bit longer, staring at the dying glow of the fire, lost in thoughts of home and what waits after the war. If you live to see it, eventually, sleep can't be held off. You set your gear within reach, place your helmet beside you, and settle into the least uncomfortable spot. The noises of the village at night slip through the broken roof, distant gunshots, voices of men on watch, the creak of old buildings. Your mind drifts back over the last few days, the stand at Halser Murphy's unbelievable holdout on the burning tank destroyer, the push to Ibshin, the street fighting, so much loss and ruin, and for what so people at home can live without fear, can carry on with their days in peace and safety. Is it worth it on nights like this, cold, worn out, and far away? It's hard to say, but come morning, you'll get up and move forward, because that's what soldiers do. They keep going until the job is done, or they can't go any farther. In later years, long after it's over, you'll recall these nights with a surprising clarity. The terror and the waiting, the bond and the loneliness, how time stretched and shrank during battle, seconds feeling like hours, days gone in a blur, the smells and sounds that never really fade. You'll remember Lieutenant Audie Murphy, the unexpected hero who earned the Medal of Honor at Holtz, who became the most decorated American soldier of the war. You'll see him later on movie posters, because yes, he became a Hollywood star after the war, and you'll think of him not as the celebrity, but as the worn young officer who led from the front, who knew every man's name, who did what had to be done, whatever the cost. You'll remember Jenkins, to the fresh recruit who turned into a soldier right in front of you. You'll wonder if he made it back, if he became that teacher, if he told his students what war really meant most of all. You'll remember the cold, the deep biting cold of that winter in France and Germany. How it sank into everything, made each task harder, each wound worse, every moment of rest less restful. In the coldest January nights, decades later, you'll wake up reaching for a blanket that was never enough, shivering from a chill that isn't really there. But that's later. For now, there is only this moment: a damaged house in a taken village, a dying fire, the sound of Jenkins breathing close by, and your rifle within reach. Tomorrow will bring what it will bring. For tonight, this small pocket of fragile safety is enough. Your eyelids grow heavy as the fire fades to faint embers. The tension leaves your body, one muscle at a time. First your shoulders dropping from your ears, where you've been holding them, then your back easing against the wall, your legs stretching out, the ache from the miles walked slowly fading. Your breath slows deeper now, in through the nose, out through the mouth, the steady rhythm pulling you closer to sleep. The sounds around you, Jenkins's soft snores, the faint pop from the fire, the distant hum of the village, blurred together into a familiar backdrop. The weight of your body seems to grow heavier, pressing you gently into the floor. It isn't uncomfortable, just solid, as if gravity is stronger. Your arms and legs feel comfortably heavy, too hard to move, but you don't want to. Your mind, which has been running through plans and memories, begins to settle. Thoughts still come, but slower, now drifting past like leaves on water, needing nothing from you, just passing by. The cold that has been your constant shadow seems weaker now. A warmth spreads from inside, reaching your arms and feet, not the strong heat of summer, but the soft warmth of a body at rest, saving energy for tomorrow. Your heartbeat, which jumps at every blast, every close call, has found a steady, calm beat. Thump, 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 the bass rhythm, the simple proof of life. Thump, 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 steady, constant, calming the line between awake and asleep. Fade. Your sense of the room drifts away, replaced by a floating feeling, like drifting on calm water. The hard floor under you seems softer, now holding you up instead of pushing back. Images drift behind your closed eyes, not sharp memories of battle, but gentler pictures. Home, family, quiet moments before the war. They don't demand anything or stir up emotion, they just are safe in there. Familiarity, the helmet beside you, the rifle close, the knowledge that others stand guard while you rest. All build a small bubble of safety. Even if it won't last, even if it's not real for now, you are safe. You can let go and sleep. So you do, drifting deeper into the soft dark, where the war cannot reach, where there are no shells, no gunfire, no frozen holes or desperate charges, only stillness and quiet and the sweet absence of fear. Your breathing is steady and slow. Now each exhale a little longer than the last, your body wonderfully heavy. almost impossible to move, though you have no wish to. Your mind slows to a few last thoughts, then to none at all. Here between awake and asleep, there is perfect peace, no past mistakes, no future danger just now. Just this, just the easy flow of breath, and the calm beat of your heart, and the quiet weight of sleep, finally claiming its place. Sleep doesn't come like a drop into darkness, but like a slow sinking into warm, deep water. The last thought you catch is that tomorrow will bring more fighting, more cold, more danger, but that is tomorrow. Tonight is only rest, deep whole, healing rest, and as you drift under, one last picture comes, not of war, but of home, of peace, of a world where young men don't crouch in frozen trenches or clear ruined villages house by house. A world worth fighting for, worth living to see. Sleep. Now soldiers, sleep well, and without dreams the watch is kept. The line is held. Tomorrow can wait for tomorrow's strength. Tonight, there is only this quiet, this rest, this gentle sinking into the safe dark.